He hadn't looked at the moon in months, not since the night he lost the only person who ever sat beside him to watch it rise. But tonight, when grief felt heavier than breath, the moon looked back at him. The house had grown so quiet since she passed, not a peaceful quiet, but a silence that settles into carpets and sinks into walls. Daniel had learned to live with it, though each step echoed through a home that no longer felt like his. It had been 7 months since they sat on the back porch, watching the moon climb over the tree line like a familiar friend. She was the reason he noticed the small things, the delicate shimmer of moonlight on water. Without her, the world felt dimmer. Tonight, his feet carried him outside, following old habits. He sat on the cool porch step, and his gaze lifted, almost accidentally, to the moon round, soft, impossibly steady. He looked away immediately. It hurt too much. The moon belonged to the life he had before. But a gentle breeze nudged him, and when he looked up again, the moon seemed brighter, clearer, as if it was seeing him through the haze. "Not tonight," he muttered. Yet the moon remained unwavering. He stayed seated, and for the first time in months, a memory rose, not with pain, but with warmth. Emily's voice, soft and teasing, came back to him. "You never really look," she used to say. "You glance. But you don't let it reach you." He looked at the moon again, longer this time. The light didn't demand anything. It didn't urge him to move on. It simply existed, quietly, the way Emily had existed beside him, steady, gentle, patient. He whispered into the night, "I didn't know it would be this hard." The confession didn't break him. It made room inside him, a space where breath could move again. The moonlight brushed the railing beside him, pale and soft, making the ordinary seem almost sacred. He closed his eyes, letting the memory of her laughter drift through him. It felt less like a wound and more like an imprint left by someone who had changed his world. When he opened his eyes, the moon appeared clearer still, and Daniel realized he wasn't truly alone. Grief had narrowed his world, but the moon, this simple, constant presence, had waited for him to look up again. A breath shook through him, and with it, something inside him loosened. Not healed, but softened. He spoke again, his voice low but steady. "I remember how she used to say, 'Your light made everything look kinder.'" The moon didn't answer, of course. But in its silence, Daniel felt understood. He looked up one last time, letting the moon fill his sight. "Thank you," he whispered. He didn't know who he was thanking: Millie, the universe, or the part of himself that had finally lifted its head again. From that night on, he looked at the moon not as a reminder of what he'd lost, but as a companion that had waited silently, steadily until he was ready to see it again. If you're struggling with grief, know that you're not alone. Help is available. You can find resources and support by calling or texting 988 in the US and Canada, or by reaching out to a local mental health service. Take care.